Hi, everyone. Welcome to It's Sybil. I am Sybil Wilkes, and glad to have one of my partners in crime back with us today, Damon Williams. Welcome back. We've missed you.
I felt missed, and I missed you all as well. Thank you.
Well, it's great to have you back. You have been globetrotting. I'm truly out of the country, around the country, and all kinds of stuff. So, as much as you can tell us, we'd like to hear about. And also, I'd like to introduce my friend Craig Kirby. He is a former political strategist and CEO of his nonprofit organization. It's opening up a whole new world by introducing, engaging, and changing the lives of young people via the game of golf. And Craig and I have one of the longest friendships I've ever had. So I'll tell you a little bit about that as we go along. But I will tell you this: Craig is one of the smartest and one of the funnest people I've ever known. And I say that because smart and fun, Damon, don't always go together. But he really is, and he's truly a dear friend, and very proud of all that he's doing. So we're going to talk about his nonprofit, and also about Black folks in the game of golf. So Damon, where you been? What you doing?
Well, I went to a wedding. I guess I haven't been back since the wedding. Went to
Right.
Cancun. Some friends got married, and it's the wedding of the year already as far as Chicago goes. My man Sean Howard and Tanya, they are now two become one Howard. And actually, the four of us went out to dinner last night
Oh,
because we
nice.
to catch up. Because she's one of Juanita's best friends, and Sean is my boat partner next door. So he's the one that got me back into boating, and so. It was great. That was dope. And then we went to New York. I went to film a little show, and I don't like to jinx my stuff till it come out.
Right.
But we had a great taping, and then that last Tuesday I was done in time, but not in time because I took my wife to see the MJ on Broadway, the Michael Jackson,
Ah.
Oh wow.
and that production should win a Tony of some sort. Trust.
Really? So
Yeah.
this is the authorized version of Michael Jackson on Broadway, right?
Uh, well, if it wasn't, it had all the good music. So
Okay.
if it's unauthorized, it's about to be a lawsuit.
Well, I understand that his kids were there for opening night, and other family members, I believe, have been there from the reports. So give us your how many stars? 4 out of 5, 5 out of 5.
I would give it all
Gloves. I don't
five.
know what we're going to use as a standard.
Yeah, well, if it 1 to 5, I give it 5 just because of the performances and the way the stories were told. You know, we delve into some of his childhood, and they evolve him from little Michael. So it's three different Michaels playing Michael, and we go all the way up to Black or White. The Bad album and things of that nature. So it was great though. We really enjoyed it. It was standing O throughout the theater. There were a couple of funny lines that are hilarious. And yeah, it was good. And then the Michael guy, the older one, his voice, the way he, you know, captured Mike's mannerisms and voice. And I think he might have been the understudy for us, but he was great. So it's a great
Wow.
thing. Yeah, it was pretty great.
Any names that you recognize in the cast, or is this like a brand new cast of unknowns in this?
Nope, these will be some people that will become known afterwards. Nobody stands out that like notable
Uh
that
huh.
that I'm aware of, and but they were all great. The dancers, the live musicians, it was all live instrumentation, and that part really made it funky. It was awesome. The stage set, it was nice, very nice.
That's cool. That's cool.
On a
Craig, I don't know
Tuesday.
if you have a great deal of time to do a lot of traveling and stuff. As you do a lot of traveling, rather. But have you seen or done anything lately that has just kind of excited you the way this play has with Damon?
No, the only thing I mean, this past Sunday or last Sunday, I was out in San Diego, so I had a chance to play Torrey Pines North, and I lost about 7 balls, so I was
Okay.
not happy
Uh-huh.
about that. But no, I haven't had a chance to really do anything fun.
Okay. So.
There's nothing fun about losing balls. We
No,
already know.
it really isn't, man. It really isn't. Okay.
And is losing 7 balls unusual for you, Craig?
Yes, it is.
Okay, okay,
Yes, it is. But I
because you're
gotta
that
tell
kind of
you,
golfer.
I'm all right. But I'm gonna tell you that rough was something to challenge you. I mean, literally, you could watch the lie of your ball, excuse me, the line of your ball, and you could see where it landed. And then you'd walk over there and the ball would just disappear. And you'd be like, well, dang.
Well, that was probably for some of the alcohol you probably imbibed, and so that
Well,
might
that's
play a
what made
part.
me start drinking a little bit more.
Okay, let's talk about what's going on in the world in our topical section. Uh, Joe Biden, the president of the United States, took to television and to the media today to give an update on what's happening between Russia and Ukraine. He made an appeal for diplomacy to continue as they are now watching to see, as we are all watching to see, if the Russian president Vladimir Putin orders an invasion of the neighboring country, Ukraine, and emphasized to Russian citizens that U.S. is not the enemy. This speech took place at the White House, and he said to them that we are all allies. The United States and NATO are not a threat to Russia. He said to the people, Ukraine is not a threat to Russia. Neither the U.S. nor NATO have missiles in Ukraine. We do not have plans to put them there. And we're not targeting the people of Russia. We do not seek to destabilize Russia, which is, as you can hear in that conversation, he's telling the people, this is what your country is. He's telling the Russians, this is what your dude is doing, but we're not. We're good. And we want to, avoid this attack at all costs. What are you hearing in D.C., Craig?
I mean, really, that's all I can give you. Literally, that's it. I mean, he's doing all right. I'll just leave it like that.
Okay.
Or as they say down south, bless his heart.
Okay, so let's talk about that because you are a political strategist or a former one, and have a lot of conversations with people. What about the average Joes, and especially as I've been pushing registration and voting, and here in Texas, early voting is underway. What are your thoughts, your views on how this is all going to turn out in the midterm elections?
Yeah, I think it's going to turn out okay. I believe the White House and the president, as well as the vice president, will get themselves together and they'll begin to reconnect with the average Joe, with the regular person. And I hate when I hear that term, regular person, because we're all regular. I mean, we're all people. But that alarm is going to go off and they're going to say, okay, we got to hit the streets again. I mean, it literally, Tip O'Neill said it, all politics is local. So they're going to go and they're going to find Miss Sally and Miss Mary Ellen, those women on the streets who make the apple pies for everybody in the neighborhoods, and ask them.
Or in some of our cases, sell the weed out of their house.
Yeah, exactly. And we're going to reach them and say, listen, we got to go out and we got to make this happen. Because at the end of the day, it really is about common sense and no sense.
Yeah. Damon, are you concerned looking ahead? I know your primaries aren't for a while. I believe it's not till late spring or so that you guys will be having your primary in Illinois. Are you concerned?
Well, I'll start with Joe Biden and Putin and that situation. Putin comes across as a powerful emperor and dictator, and Joe is coming across like Pawpaw, like we are not your enemy.
We like you. We like you.
Yeah, and appealing to the citizenry of Russia has no bearing or no power because they have none. So that's a waste of breath to tell the people. Like, you might say to the American people, we're not your enemy, and then we can put pressure on our leaders. That's not going to work in that circumstance. As far as Illinois is concerned, the local politics. I had a talk with my son yesterday about what we're going to do about our next mayor, and that's a tricky scenario. We don't know where we're going with that because we don't have any viable candidates, and there's one crackpot that's running. He used to be the head of the FOP, and we definitely can't have him in, so it'll be the lesser of two evils. But our governor has done a good job, considering if you compare him to what Ronner was doing with running up deficits and not paying bills and purposely, running up the state budget and deficit. So that concerns me, but I think Pritzker's in a good place to be reelected. As far as the local politics, the automatic races, the seats that are up for grabs, I don't think it's going to be much of a shift in Illinois because we're blue true and true.
I'm curious though, because one of your longtime aldermen is not running for reelection, Bobby Rush, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Yeah, Congressman Rush. Yeah. He decided to step down, but I think his seat is not really up for grabs. The real kingmakers will decide who gets that seat, and he'll have some input, I'm sure.
Yeah. If I'm not mistaken, also, Craig, a familiar name to you and to all of us, actually in Illinois, but around the country. One name is being mentioned, if I'm not mistaken, and that's a Jackson.
It is.
Thinking about running for the congressman's seat in Illinois. Is it Jonathan?
It's Jonathan. It is. Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I got a call literally last Sunday, and they told me that Jonathan was going to run, and I went, great. I couldn't be on the call with him that afternoon because of the 3-hour time. I was out in California of the time difference. But yeah, Jonathan is going to run, and I'm happy for him. It's good for him.
Yeah, he's a solid guy. He's a solid business person. He's been behind the scenes and out of the shadows. But I mean, in the shadows, because I've known him for a long time, just in dealings with him. And I think that would be a great choice, and a powerful name as well.
It's going to be interesting to see how this all plays out. Like I said, early voting has started in Texas, and I'm not sure what the first day numbers look like. And of course, it'll be a while before I do know that Jasmine Crockett, who made a name for herself in the Texas House, is now running for the congressional seat currently held by Eddie Bernice Johnson. And so we will talk about that as we go on. Eddie Bernice Johnson has endorsed Jasmine Crockett, and Jasmine has been a guest here. And so we will. Oh, I'm being told Jonathan Jackson is what number is he in the family, Craig, of the Jackson family?
Jonathan is third, I believe.
He is one of the sons of Reverend Jesse Jackson and Mrs. Jacqueline Jackson, and of course Jesse Jackson Jr. is a former congressman from the state of Illinois, not from Chicago, but he is not running in that district. That district is already. Is it Robin? Shoot.
I think it is Robin. I'm not sure. Right off
I can't
the top
remember
of my
Robin's
head.
last name. I'm blanking out there, but I believe she is the congresswoman from that district. So moving on, this is a big story that came out for people who are still looking at Sandy Hook, and it's hard to believe that Sandy Hook, the murder of those victims at Sandy Hook, that elementary school in Connecticut, took place so long ago. And finally, there is a settlement reached between some of the Sandy Hook families and the maker of the weapon used in the school shooting. And they are now looking at a $73 million settlement with 9 families of those killed in at the Sandy Hook Elementary School with Remington. Remington Arms initially offered $33 million. That was not enough, and they went back to the drawing board. And this lawsuit has been going on for the last 7+ years, arguing that the gun manufacturer Remington aggressively marketed the assaultive and militaristic capabilities weapon used in the 2012 Sandy Hook shooting, and appealing to the very kinds of people most likely to commit mass murder. And that was the young man who did kill all of those people and then killed himself. Under the agreement, the families will share $73 million paid out by Remington's 4 insurers. That's a long time, 10 years since the murder of those children and their teachers, to finally come to some sort of settlement. But some people are very happy that today they have something, if you can call it a celebration.
Well, holding the gun manufacturers responsible has been something that's been sought after a long time.
Mm-hmm.
And here there were a lot of lawsuits just to prevent handgun ownership. So,
right.
I guess it's a step in the right direction. But it's the thing of it is, in my opinion, there are so many guns out on the street. If they never make another gun, America is still overrun with guns. So it's it's an uphill battle, but it's a step in the right direction, in my opinion.
Craig, have you had any experience with the gun lobby and especially like with James Brady and his wife that they tried to fight after the shooting of Ronald Reagan?
No, I haven't. I have not, to answer your question. And speaking about guns, it's interesting because this is on subject but off the subject. I was down at the PGA show and I ran into Ron Harper a couple of years ago. And Ron
Harper,
Dayton,
the basketball
player. The basketball player. Yeah, Ron grew up in
of
Dayton,
the
Ohio,
championship Chicago
of
Bulls.
the Chicago Championship Bulls.
Okay.
3, 4, 5, 6, I believe. But it was interesting because I said, dude, what are you doing at the PGA show? He goes, I golf. And I said, when did you start golfing? And he said, when I realized that it was hard to get shot on a golf course.
Wow.
And exactly. So
wow.
I don't know if he's ever golfed on the South Shore Country Club here in Chicago.
Damon, I'm with you on that, man.
I had an event over there and I heard Draco's in the background. But no, I'm sorry, I didn't jump in, man. That's my lane.
No, go ahead, man. I mean,
that's what he do.
But you're less likely to get shot on the golf course than on a basketball court in the hood. That's for sure.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. Do you want to give an update? Did y'all see this about Adrian Peterson getting kicked off a plane because he got into it with his wife?
No.
Adrian Peterson, the NFL player, you remember years ago he got in trouble because of the battery of his child. He well, I don't know if he spanked, but I think he whooped his child.
He beat his child,
and he really got in a heap of trouble. Well, now he is. He's not facing felony domestic violence charges, but this is according to the LA DA's office. They say they have elected not to charge the running back, but he is not in the clear yet. And it all appears over the fact that they were on a plane and Adrian Peterson was trying, according to their story, he was trying to take her wedding ring off. He attempted to remove his wife's wedding ring, which caused minor marks to her hand. She's defending him and saying that at no point did he hit her. But he was thrown in jail on Sunday after he allegedly got physical with Ashley during an argument on the plane at LAX. He was taken into custody. Ashley was seen to have sustained a small mark, as we said, on her hand. And she posted on her Instagram that he never got physical with her. Well, the felony charge is not going to happen, but it could happen in terms of the Los Angeles city attorney. And it's just kind of sad to see this, but this was, while in the midst of the whole Super Bowl, frenzy and activity over the weekend. It happened on Sunday. Do you know him, Damon?
No, not at all.
It's just a sad state.
But you gotta wonder what happened, though. You gotta wonder what happened, what prompted this.
Well, because he was trying to take her ring off. So how do you get to, what? I'm about sick of this. You know what? If you're sick of this, just get off the damn plane. Well, I'm not getting off the plane till I take your wedding ring with me. How do you get to, 0 to 1,000 like that?
Right. I mean, were they mad or is he broke? Like, you don't want to sit in for first class, man. If you want to eat, I need that ring because we need to hop that thing.
How does that? I mean, we never know how these arguments, and the next thing you know, somebody's pulling a knife on somebody. I don't know, but it is just like you just pulling and pulling. You give me my damn ring back. You guys been married for too long to say give me my ring back. Really?
Unless she caught him, or he caught her doing something at the game, or who knows? But that's not our business. That ain't none of my business anyway. Put it that way.
Okay. So we'll stay out of grown folks' business. Is that what you're saying?
Business. Luckily, the man ain't getting felony charged. Hopefully, he'll get some help because he obviously have anger issues. And it's never okay to put your hands on a woman in any circumstance or each other, women, vice versa.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true. Absolutely.
Maybe there weren't enough snacks. I don't know. You know, they're kind of tight on them snacks right now.
Yeah, they're not letting people drink. He's like, well, what about if I trade you this ring for a shot?
Whatever you got in front there, Captain.
But I'll let you hold my ring till I get off. I promise.
That's funny. That's funny.
Terrible.
Craig, if we have time, I do want to get your thoughts on the big game as an Ohio native, and some thoughts on that. But we do need to move to our "What's Really Going On" segment. And Craig, this is why you are here. Today's Black History highlight is golfer Renee Powell. The 75-year-old Ms. Powell has been a force both on and off the golf course. As noted in the story, since her retirement, she has been working to include minorities in the golf industry. And so, as my friend Craig Kirby, Craig is the founder and CEO of the nonprofit organization Golf, My Future, My Game. So, Craig, tell us about the organization. Who's it for? And why did you decide to start this? Why is this so important to you?
You know, it's important to me, Sybil, because the golf course is the green boardroom. It's where business relationships are created, they're fostered, and where business decisions are made. A lot of people don't realize, but golf is an $84 billion a year industry.
84 with a B.
billion with a B, not black. It's a whole lot of black in that B because that's 84 billion. But there's a lot of money in this industry, a lot of jobs in this industry that folks like us just aren't aware of. And so I wanted to work with kids. You know, the one thing my mom taught me, she said, Craig, we're not put on this earth to see through one another, but to see one another through.
Mm-hmm.
And for me, golf provides that opportunity. I mean, we provide underrepresented children with a passport to the world of business via golf. Again, you get them out there. We want to create that comfort level for them so that when they're invited to play a round of golf, they can say, yes, let's go out and play.
Mm-hmm.
And then when they're on that course, it's on them. You don't know where that high is going to take you. You know, one of the stories I tell our kids, I had a young man, he was a graduate of Norfolk State. And he said, Mr. Kirby, I can't get a job. And I went, well, are you interviewing? And he goes, I am, but it's a dog and pony show. You know, they already know who they want to hire. They're going to hire their friends. And I said, okay, I give you that because it's true. Friends hire friends.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, have you ever thought about being a caddy? And he looked at me and he said, what? I said, yeah, you know, being a caddy. He goes, is that carrying somebody's bag? I said, well, yeah, it is, but it's a good use of carrying somebody's bag. And he goes, all right, I'll try it. So he went through the training and everything. And he became a caddy. And 7 months later, he had a job at a Fortune 100 company here in the DC metropolitan area. Why? Because he happened to caddy for an SVP at a company who took an interest in him, who took a liking in him, because they got to spend 4 and 5 hours daily on the golf course. So he was being interviewed and didn't realize he was being interviewed.
Mm-hmm.
And now he's there.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah. When you talk about who this is for, who are the children? Who are these young people that are involved in the organization? My Golf, My Future, My Game.
So we work with underrepresented kids, multicultural, more importantly, communities of color. So kids who look like us, from the age of 5 all the way to 21.
Mm-hmm.
And again, we pique that interest in the game of golf. We create that connection through their lens, not the lens of some 60, 65-year-old white man or woman who's played golf their entire life at the country club. And then again, we highlight the economic opportunities that the game offers.
Yeah.
So those are the kids that we work with. I mean, we work with Jack and Jill kids.
Mm-hmm.
We work with kids who come from 2-family homes, kids who have just a mom or live with a parent and may have 4 or 5 foster brothers and sisters living with them. Because for me, it's also important that our kids intermingle
Mm-hmm.
with each other so that there's a connection between them. And what better way to connect socioeconomic differences, cultural differences, etc., than when you're trying to learn something together?
Yeah. Damon, do you play?
No, I'm not a golfer, but I've been out because I've been invited to several tournaments or charity outings, and I've been the fourth. And basically just for comic relief. Actually, Jesse Jr. I went out with him a couple of times. And now that you mentioned him at his outing, and then other guys, and once you go though, golfers really want you to learn to play the game.
Yeah.
Like, golf enthusiasts are enthusiastic. So immediately after the first time I did it, I went out and bought some cheap clubs, and I was looking for a place to swing the stick and and get involved. But it's time consuming. It's a habit that you could be addicted to. And at the time, I was really pursuing other things in my career that wouldn't allow me to have that type of free time.
Like boating?
No, this is way before boating.
So I was introduced to golf by it was a guy, and he bought me a really great set of clubs, and I did it for a while, and we went, and I still have the clubs, but I don't get out there and do it anymore. But I had one of the greatest instructors is an elderly Black man who, you didn't think he could even pick up the clubs, but man, he was so strong. He was so funny, and he was so dear and patient, may I add, in terms of that. And it does take that, Craig. And are the kids, are they as interested in the sport in the beginning, in terms of, why am I here? Or are some of them really want to be the next Tiger?
It's that first one. It's why are we here? And then once they get there, they learn that golf is more than a game. Golf really is a lifetime experience
Mm-hmm.
with unparalleled possibilities. And when that kid gets a good swing and hits that ball, bam, that's it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
Yep.
I tell people, Damon probably knows this, golf is an endless series of tragedies. It's still about the occasional miracle. But it's that miracle that brings you back time after
Right.
time.
Right.
And then they get out there and all of a sudden there's just all this green. And I had one girl from Detroit in our Detroit program. She said, I didn't know there was this much green.
Oh.
And I just went, yeah, there is.
Mm-hmm.
There
Yeah,
really
it's an
is.
awesome experience to be out in nature, and everybody's laughing, and depending on your age, the people are drinking and having snacks along the way. Golf is a great thing. I highly encourage people to pick it up. I want my wife and I to take lessons because they say that the real part of the game is the short game, and you can practice that anytime, anywhere.
Mhm.
So I'm looking forward to it. I don't want to wait too late, but it's great to get young people involved because you can teach young people anything, and like you said, it becomes a lifestyle that, like when we went to Martha's Vineyard, Chris
The
Spencer
vineyard.
runs
I
the
was going to
vineyard.
ask you about the vineyard and your
Yeah.
experience.
So the one time, because Chris Spencer and Ray Allen always come, and they always golf with Obama.
Yep.
And so the one year when I had allowed G-Thang to take my place because I took the week off and let him host, they finally got on the course with Obama. So he got all these pictures and they smoking cigars, and so you can meet the greatest of the greats out on the golf course. So I highly encourage people to get involved.
Yeah, you can. And the other thing, I'm sorry, you can play golf till you're 100 years old.
That's
You can't play basketball past a certain age.
Right.
But
Yeah, Father Time will tell you.
right.
But Craig, and it's not just the game itself. Talk about their experiences in the whole golf industry.
Yeah, no, it's not just the game. So, yeah, I think I may have shared this story with you. This was about 2 years ago, and I was in Detroit at the Rocket Mortgage Classic golf tournament. It was the inaugural year. And I'm walking through the caddy area, and I see this young man, young white guy to be specific. He's standing there right next to a barber stool, and he's got all these barber tools around him. And I look at him and I go, yo, man, what are you doing? And the dude, he sounded like Eminem and he looked like him. But he's like, yo, shawty, I'm cutting hair for the caddies. And if I do a good job, they're going to contract me for next year. And I looked at him and I went, good for you. And then I thought about all of our kids who do hair, who do nails, who do facials, pedicures, all that kind of stuff. What's to say they can't get a job? They can't get a contract on the PGA Tour for the girlfriends or the wives or the sisters, or even to cut the hair for the players. I mean, there are just all these jobs out there that we're not thinking about. That's just, on the golf side. You got the whole F&B side, which is the hospitality industry. And then you've got the golf course superintendents, which I have to tell you, without them, there is no golf because there are no golf courses. But it doesn't take a doctorate to cut grass, but that's how you can get in. And then once you figure out your specialty, like you understand Bermuda grass, or you understand Zorza grass, or all these different kinds of things, you can travel the country, you can travel the world telling people how they can get that on their course. So, these are the kinds of things that we're working on so that our kids can have an appreciation. I mean, for me, it's all about being able to give them options so they can have choices, so they can make choices. I had a mom come to me a couple years ago and she said, hey, Craig, thanks for letting Jerome be in your program. I said, no, thank you. Because without you, he wouldn't get here. And she goes, yeah. So, we're about to walk our different ways. And she goes, but I got to tell you something. She said, please don't tell me my options if you don't know my choice. She said, please don't tell me my choices if you don't know my options. And I was like, bam, that's it. Let me give these kids options so they can make choices.
Yep. Talk about the Lee Elder internship, because we talked about that in the newsletter for people who are interested. And it's not just for people who are into sports management or whatever, but this is an important internship, and it can lead to something else, can't it?
It really can. We all know Lee Elder, bless his soul, rest in peace. But at the country club,
he was one of the preeminent and pioneering Black golfers.
He was. As a matter of fact, he was the first African-American. He was the first Black golfer to play at the Masters down in Augusta National back in, I think it was 73 or 74. So, and if anyone has ever had the fortune to go to Augusta National, to the Masters, they will understand why that's so significant. But this internship at the country club, partnering with the USGA, is a 1-week immersive experience that's going to happen at the 2022 US Open. And for 1 week, kids will have a chance to work different components of the tournament, from operations, media, course maintenance, design, sales, marketing, facility operations, management, et cetera, but they're going to pay them a stipend of, I believe, $1,200 for the week. They're going to provide housing for these interns. They're going to take care of their food for the interns, and they're going to fly them there. I mean, what a deal, what a steal, what a buy. You can't beat that. I mean, that truly is a gift. And for those young people that are smart enough to take advantage of it, I mean, it's no telling where life will go for them. They're going to meet folks that they never would have met. They're going to build
at the US Open, the preeminent
at the US Open, one of the four
tournament.
majors. Exactly.
Craig, and it's open to college and postgraduate
Correct.
graduate students, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So if you go to our newsletter, you'll see the link where you can apply and or if you just want to get more information on this. But it's a great and people are not applying.
No, they're not. They've extended the deadline. This is the last
To
extension, though,
March
from what I
1st.
understand, to March 1st, exactly.
Craig, one more thing I want to ask you. My golf, I'm sorry, golf, my game, my future, my game
Mhm.
is it only available to students on the East Coast? Where else can people be a part of
No,
this?
we're growing. So we are in Washington, D.C. and the DMV, the metropolitan area. We're also in Detroit, Michigan, Dayton, Ohio, Atlanta, Georgia. We're going into New Orleans this spring. And believe it or not, I just got a call this past Friday from a country club in Long Island, New York. So as we begin to grow, for me, it's important that I work with the local communities because you've got folks in these local communities who've been doing this for quite some time.
Mm-hmm.
And so my goal is to work with them and utilize the strength of their inner knowledge and hopefully bring in the strength of our external resources.
Craig Kirby is my friend, and he's also a pretty great guy, and he is the founder and CEO of his nonprofit. It's called Golf, My Future, My Game, and we'll talk about that. I do want to talk about the What You Need to Know newsletter, and that is where you'll find the story about Renee Powell and other items. The What You Need to Know newsletter is absolutely free. Please go to SybilWilkes.com and sign up for it. You get a subscription is absolutely free, and it'll be in your email box every Monday through Friday morning. Let's talk about Cameron Riley, who is not with us today. He's off doing some other things in his creative life, but he did talk about the story about the the trucks that formed a blockade over the bridge linking the U.S. and Canada. They have moved on after a 2-week hostile takeover on the busiest bridge in Canada. The Freedom Convoy blockade has dispersed. Canadian authorities reopened the Ambassador Bridge Monday, and the occupation of the bridge and other key trade checkpoints across Canada, which left the country scrambling for ways to restore order. And Prime Minister Justin Trudeau refused to use any show of military force to disperse the convoy, but they made their point because they were angry about the vaccinations and the need for proving vaccinations, and so they had this weeks long blockade, a nonviolent way to do it, but they really did mess up the markets as far as shipping and the transportation of products. What do you think, Damon?
Well, I saw some of the guys on the news, and they seem like Canadian Trump supporters. It's about our freedom and it's about our rights, and I really don't think they knew the impact that it would have. They were just thinking about themselves, but exponentially, it hurt workers in all the branches of their economy. I mean, people that couldn't get supplies, couldn't come to work, couldn't do what they had to do. So
Right.
they might have gotten their point across, but it's a hollow victory, especially if it ran up like debt for other people. Like there were people that were saying that they couldn't get to work, and just one lady said, "I'm a 15-hour employee, and now if I miss a day or two of work, that throws off my bills for the month." And they were causing that type of problem for people. So I'm sure they didn't think it all the way through, and they were just thinking about, we're going to take a stand and show our freedom and our rights. And sometimes you got to think that through.
In Cameron's story, he talked about how the effects were being felt, not as you said, all over the country. As far south as Florida, Alabama, and states like that. And this is the bridge that links the states, Michigan to Ontario, and so
Over the Windsor, yeah.
yeah. So I don't know what the gamblers were doing,
I'm
but
about to say some of them old ladies couldn't get to the casino. That was the real tragedy. Some of them ladies like, I don't know about these trucks, but I know I need to get to the casino.
okay. So another story that we had in the newsletter is about the president, number 44, I should say, President Obama having a closed door conference, a confab, if you will, with the Democratic caucus last week, about 70 minutes. No, it was not open to the public. So I said closed door. And so, and he told them to quit your whining, have some empathy for the people as you're going out there in the, to ask for their votes in the midterm elections, and talk about what you're doing, what your success stories are. Don't whine about mansion and cinema. Let's just get to work and don't have what happened to me in 2010, where he got a real shellacking in the midterm elections. Craig, you remember that?
Yeah, I remember that. I do, and he's right. Just stand up, be tall, be who you are. Make them like you for you, not for who you want them to be.
Yeah.
And the Democrats, we've always been so passive. When I say we, the party, the Republicans, when they want to get something done, like when that Tea Party thing formed, they were out there doing what they had to do, and we had no opposition to it. We have nothing like this to counter that on the Democratic side. So it's time for some grassroots organizing and to get ready, because they are, believe me, they want revenge for Trump's loss and everything about it. So, and they're rabid. I just rode past the house today, still got Trump stuff up and stay woke and don't be sheep. And, and I was in this little community, one of the enclaves, right around Riddles, actually. And I was very surprised to see that. And he's been out of office all this time and they still, pumping Trump. We got to go to work.
Absolutely. And there are a couple of things here, Craig, and I want you go ahead, and then I'll bring up a couple of things I want to.
No, I was just going to say, echoing Damon, we need to be the Democratic Party that Ron Brown built back in 1988. I mean, that Ron Brown took a party that was dysfunctional, disdained, disingenuous, disenfranchised, and brought it together and gave the platform for, obviously, Bill Clinton to become president.
Right.
But he got in there, he got down, he got dirty, and he said, this is who we are. This is who we're going to be. And this is what we're going to stand for. You like it or you don't.
I think a lot of people have forgotten the name Ron Brown, unfortunately, Craig. Ron Brown was the first Black chairman of the Democratic National Party committee. And that you said it was 88. He was appointed as a member of Bill Clinton's cabinet. And because he was one of those people who put Bill Clinton in office. And he was unfortunately killed in a plane crash during, was it the first term? I believe it was.
It was the first term, yes.
Yeah. Like 94, something
no,
like that.
No, it was like 95 or 6, I believe.
Yeah. And just a dynamic individual, and in memory of Ron Brown, how great would it be, and listening to President Obama, quit your, I don't know if he said whining, but let's get back to who we are and stand up and talk about it. And if nobody else understands, as I said in the article, if nobody else understands about what a big effing deal this is, Joe Biden has said it. and so, remember, Joe, and let's go out there and talk about the great deals that you have in terms of, trying to, get as many people who want to be inoculated as possible, to get the vaccines, to get your kids back to school. Let's talk about the infrastructure. Okay. All right. We're working another direction in order to get some of those voting regulations done. But we need your help, because we got to get over this hump where we are, congested, especially in the United States Senate at these 50 votes. And we can't count on those two characters from West Virginia and Arizona.
Oh, no, we sure can't. So, like Harriet said, you going with me or you not?
Okay. Absolutely right. Absolutely.
She also said, if you go back, you're going back with a limp.
Yeah. Okay. Hope they got health care for you.
And we still got health care for you. Continuing on the what Joe Biden is saying, he's calling the end to the mask mandates premature. Craig, as a parent, have you gone through this with the masking in school and not?
No, so the school that my daughter goes to, every kid wears a mask, and I will tell you their vaccination rate is 98.5%.
Wow.
These kids are like, we lost a year. You tell us what to do. We'll do it because we want to go to school. We want to
Right.
be in school.
And Damon, you are on the road, and at the Arlington Improv this weekend.
Thank you.
And are you concerned? Are you still having the discussion about masking and separations and things like that?
Comedy clubs, if it's a model for a place to be a spreader event, if
Mm-hmm.
a comedy club is done the way we used to do them, then it's an issue. But I think people feel like there's a fatigue, there's a COVID fatigue, and people just when there's something they want to do, they'll do it. Restaurants as well. Valentine's Day was just this weekend. People mask up to come in to enter the place. You show your vaccine card, and then you go to your table, and you're back to normal. So I think with the vaccination card mandates, people feel more comfortable. But our numbers are starting to creep back up because the metrics are down. So, but we felt the pinch when Omicron first hit. The tickets stopped selling for a while, but now they seem to be back on the uptick because the metrics are going down.
Yeah. And this is Riddles as well as other clubs around the country.
Indeed, every place I've been, like this past week or two, you can see the difference. Whereas maybe a month ago, we were very concerned, thinking that they would probably go back into capacity restrictions and things of that nature because it was so prevalent. Everybody was getting, positivity rates. But also, people also don't fear it as much because if you're vaccinated, you recover quicker. You're not in ICU, not on a ventilator. So I think we're kind of turning the corner on that. But I think people with common sense are saying, I'm following the guidelines and I'm living my life to the fullest.
Yeah. And people, say, well, I got vaccinated, but I got sick and I got the virus. And that is, and for the most part, because we do know people who are hospitalized now with the virus, but for the most part, it's a cold. It's
Right.
that kind of thing, right?
You got a chance to say all of that
Right.
after getting it. That first bat, I think we on COVID 22.
Yeah.
COVID-19
Yeah.
was,
We're past 19.
yeah, we're on 22 by now. 22 is a little punk COVID.
Yeah, right.
But don't let me be the one to tell you to lose your caution. Still mask up and wash your hands and keep your distance when possible and avoid gatherings. Unless you feel like laughing and you want to come to the Arlington Improv.
Craig, I do want you to talk a little bit about our Black History highlight, and that is Renee Powell. We talked about her in the story, and then we moved to some of the other opportunities. And one of her great moves is in her years of retirement, she has moved to bring golf to the masses, to minorities, to women, to the elderly, senior citizens, and what have you. Talk a little bit about her, because I'll shut up after this. But one of the craziest things that you told me is that there are 29,000 members of the PGA.
Correct, PGA of America. Yes,
and 8 of them are
Black women.
8. That's crazy.
8.
That's crazy.
That's it.
Renee Powell is quite a woman, isn't she?
Renee Powell is the grand dame, pardon me, of golf. She is revered worldwide. We all know that, well, most of us know that golf started at St. Andrews. Renee Powell has a dormitory named after her at St. Andrews.
Wow. Yeah.
She bad.
And her legacy, her father was the first Black man to create and to have a golf course.
Yes.
In Ohio.
Clearview Golf Course in East Canton, Ohio. Her dad, Bill Powell, a graduate of Wilberforce University, went to war, came back, and was not allowed to play golf anywhere. So he said, well, I'm going to build a course so that my family and friends can play. And if you ever get a chance, you have to visit this course because you can feel the strength of her dad on that course. This man seeded this course with his own two hands. He would walk up and down the fairways, seeding it. And it started out as a 9-hole golf course, and now it's an 18-hole golf course. And it's just, I mean, it's just so powerful. And Renee and her brother Larry, who is the actual golf course superintendent, have made it work with nothing. And now they're finally beginning to get the exposure and the help from the industry that they so well deserved. But she and her brother are just as humble as pie and as gracious as God.
Wow, that's powerful.
And what's the name of the course and where can people find it?
It's Clearview Golf Course, which is in East Canton, Ohio.
She's right there with the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, she's right there with the Hall of Fame. Exactly.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, Franco Harris will come and play at the course frequently.
Oh, nice. Let's move to entertainment, and we've got a couple of seconds here. A big announcement: Wanda Sykes, Regina Hall, and Amy Schumer are going to be the three amigas, if you will, hosts of the upcoming Academy Awards presentation in March.
Wow.
Damon, what do you think?
Looking forward to it. Well, Wanda's gonna say it.
Yeah.
And Amy Schumer's not scared either, so that's gonna be very interesting. She actually came to the Martha's Vineyard Comedy Fest and spotted LeVar Walker and gave him a writer's job and a character on her show that she has that's just coming out. So you got a chance to meet her. She's the realest it comes. And now after after the Golden Globes a few years ago, and man, I can't think of the British comedian. He rose from Hollywood. You know who I'm talking about.
I can see him just now.
It's sad. I can't say it because I just watched it yesterday. But all the gloves are off now, and then to have women, in control of the broadcast is really great because of all the Me Too and the situation that women have been subjected to out in Hollywood. So this is going to be great. That's going to be awesome.
Ricky Gervais. Thank you,
Ricky
Yolanda.
Gervais. Thank you very much. Yes. So it's Wanda, Amy, and what's the third person?
And Regina Hall, who is very funny.
Yeah.
She's not a stand-up, but she's a funny woman.
And she's a Hollywood powerhouse now too, So,
okay.
And she's well seasoned. So yes. So there'll be no punches pulled, I'm pretty sure.
And one of the other things that's going to happen is that Samuel L. Jackson will receive an honorary Academy Award at the Governor's Awards this year.
Good.
Yeah. Yeah, good
it's
for
about
him.
Time. He's been in enough movies.
In more than 100. And he has been the man that has taken those movies to the top of the box office time after time after time.
Yeah.
And Sam is also, Mr. Jackson, I should say, I don't know him that way, is scheduled to receive an honor at the NAACP Image Awards, Damon. He is going to get the Governor's Award, if I'm not mistaken.
I met Sam a couple of times now, but the first time I ever met him, within 10 seconds, the MF popped out. I went over, I said, Mr. Jackson, it's a pleasure to meet you. He was in the audience of my show, and I hadn't performed yet, so I ain't thinking he knew me or not. He said, I know who you are. You a funny mother. Right off the gate, I was done. That's my Sam Jackson story. But now, I kind of know him well because he's friends with Michael Collier, and I've seen him a couple other times. Right. But within 10 seconds.
Okay.
I got the MF.
That's funny. I'm sorry, I misspoke. It's the Chairman's Award at the NAACP Image Awards in February, and they will bestow the actor with the award, which recognizes individuals who demonstrate exemplary public service and use their distinct platforms to create agents of change. So here's a guy who, was active in the civil rights movement as a student at Morehouse and there at the funeral of Martin Luther King. And
somewhere along the way lost his way and got on crack.
Yeah. No, it's true. Yeah. Yeah,
And then,
yeah, that whole thing, that he lived on stage, he actually lived in real time. Yeah.
indeed, Spike Lee. Let's give some credo to him because he just pretty much put Sam on our radar, and he's been
Yep.
gone ever since.
Yep. We all need that. Craig Kirby, before we go, just want people to know how to reach you and how to get involved with the organization, which is Golf My Future, My Game.
Golf My Future My Game. You can go to golfmyfuturemygame.org, or you can follow us on Instagram, TikTok, all that social media stuff.
Okay.
All right. Let me just put it like that. And or you can always call the office, 202-478-9644.
He's there right now working, answering the
I'm
phone.
here right now. That's right.
And Damon,
What?
you are headed out back on the road.
Yes, Arlington Improv this weekend, Thursday through Sunday, and then next week I'll be in Orlando. They're doing a comedy at a movie cinema, and that's going to be great. So I'm looking forward to that. But Improv is already doing well. The whole Chicago and the Dallas crew is coming out, and I invite anybody to come on out. Damon Williams Comedy,
And he does have a crew in Dallas, Fort Worth.
yes, they come in mass. So I'm looking forward to seeing everyone.
I'm going to close out with Yogi's Jewel, gentlemen and ladies and gentlemen out in our audience. Be your biggest advocate and cheerleader. Be your biggest advocate and cheerleader. Thank you for that. I cheer you guys on. I thank you so much for coming on tonight. I value your time and your presence, your gifts, as well as I thank all the folks out there listening and watching. Thank you for your time as well. Thanks, Craig. Thanks, Damon.
Thank you, Sybil. Nice
Thank
to meet
you.
you, Damon.
And
Aloha.
for everybody that's been watching, my stupid phone has been leaning this way. So it started out like this, and it's been bugging the hell out of me. Next week, earbuds and a new tripod.
We're on it.
Thank you all.
Aloha.
Take care.